everyone, and welcome to Talks with Janette. Today we're going to have a beautiful picnic here in Primrose Hill with a mate of mine from up north who's just moved down to London, and he is a Strictly champion. It's Oduba. Ore!
Hi, buddy.
Give me a cuddle.
Oh.
Give me a cuddle. It's so good to
Love
see
you, mate. I love you,
what
mate.
What do we call ourselves? A league of our own?
We do.
Have a handshake.
Boom.
Yeah.
Sorry, you have no idea what that is,
Don't
but
worry.
the story is hilarious.
Let's just say Strictly Live Tour. Leave it at that.
Yeah.
Leave it at that.
Something tells me though it will probably come up.
Maybe.
Not all the detail. Won't peel away all the layers, but
How
we'll
it
probably
is-
talk about it.
What did they say? What happens on the tour bus stays on the tour bus.
Unless the Daily Mail are nearby.
Yeah, then maybe not.
and then sometimes they pick up on your stories. And there's the problem with Insta stories now, is that they are just waiting for stuff.
Well, it's too easy now, isn't
Yeah.
it, to post something really quick?
It is. And now obviously I'm a responsible dad.
You are a
so
dad
I don't do anything
No.
anything that would put my reputation on the line.
Yes.
No,
So
sorry.
It's okay.
Portia.
Thank you so much for coming and talking with me today.
For you, genuinely, anytime. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of
Yeah,
you
thank
because
you.
this is no mean feat.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
This is amazing. But the thing is, because you're such an amazing person that people just gravitate towards. This is why I'm not. I know this is your interview, but I've taken over.
You've taken over.
But I think because you've been talking about wanting and dreaming about doing something like this, and I'm just so proud of you because not everybody does it. Not everybody
gonna do it.
actions it.
Yeah.
And here we are on
And here we are in a
smooth
beautiful
picnic blanket,
Primrose Hill.
beautiful
Yeah.
primrose.
So let's start with that actually. You were living in Manchester.
Yeah.
And now you've moved to my side,
Uh-huh.
the south side.
Yeah,
London.
not quite South Florida,
No,
but
it's
South.
not really Miami.
South,
no.
yeah.
But today's a beautiful day in the hill, isn't it? Are
It
you
is.
liking it? How do you? Was there a massive difference between Manchester and London?
Well, yeah, it's huge. Yeah, I mean, because London is just so much bigger, so much more bustling. The thing is that Portia and I, my wife and I, we were in Manchester for 6.5 years.
time.
And that was like our whole relationship. We had been together for about 3 months when we were last in London before we moved up. So our whole lifetime, we got married during that time. We talked about babies during that time,
Yeah.
and we moved in together. So everything happened there.
It's a significant.
That
city
was
for
like
you.
that was the majority of our lives together was based up in that amazing city. So we loved it. But the thing was, we knew that we would never, in an ideal world, would never start a family up in Manchester because our families were
'cause
based
you're both
down south.
okay.
So it was just we got to the point where it was May, I think. We got married in November. Then the following May, we had a chat and we said, when would we like to start having a family? And that's obviously such a lovely conversation to have, but it's a big one.
A lot
and
of choices come with that.
yeah, and do you know what? From very early on, Portia and I, we always talked about our lives together. We knew we would sort of. She was the one.
I'm going to ask you about that later. 'Cause
Yeah.
I love your story.
I mean, she was just
It's
like,
beautiful
when
story.
you got that fish, reel it in.
Reel it in.
There is no better fish in this sea, I can tell you. So no, we did always talk about it. It was just the fact that in that May, we went, do you know what? If in a year's time we were not professionally in our work in a position to move, we might have to make a call. Because in May, the following year, 2018, 18 months after we've been married, that would be an amazing time to be settled down.
Yeah.
On April the 6th,
Of course.
2017,
As
we
life
moved to
does.
London. On May the 9th, we found out we were having a baby.
Wow! How did you, it was literally like clockwork.
To the day almost. It was, we've been very blessed.
Wow. So let's go right back to the beginning.
Do we have to? Because he was so much fatter than he is now. Do we have to go back to that time?
Yeah. So tell us where you were born, your mum and dad's names.
Do you know, I was actually born in Queen Charlotte's Hospital, which is the same hospital in London that my son was born
Is
in
it?
5 months ago.
Oh my God,
Which
how
is
nice
the
is that?
circle of life.
Oh my God, did you go,
I've done that too many times to count, as every new parent has done.
Yeah,
It's
of
like
course.
the done and so done
But
thing.
how nice, in the same
Yeah.
hospital as you.
Yeah, it moved by the time, but it was the same name of the hospital.
Yeah.
So no, that was November 1985. My parents, Jimmy and Fowler. To be fair, this is all a bit hazy this time, but we were born in London. There was a time in Nigeria where they're from, but then I started school in Dorset.
In Dorset.
In a town called Wimborne in Dorset, just outside of Bournemouth, in 1988.
1988.
Yeah. So
Little
I
Ore.
genuinely have no idea why these first generation Nigerians decided to move from Lagos, Nigeria, to the leafy town of Wimborne Minster in Dorset. But we did, and that's where
But
the roots.
you did. And what were you like as a student in school? Were you a good student? Were you quiet? Were you
I was
nutty?
I was definitely not nutty.
You were not.
I was shaped like a walnut. If that's what you, I mean, whoop! I was like you could have rolled me down a hill.
Oh, you were cute though, because you've got big fluttery eyes and a big smile.
Well, that helped, I guess. I had something going for me. No, I was. Do you know what? I was a bit bigger, but I loved school. I loved my friends. I was really lucky to grow up in a school and in an area where, you were sort of taught to, if you really want something, then you got to work hard for it. But who's to say that you can't do anything? There were so many activities. I was really sporty. I played music.
Did you? So what sports did you play? Do you remember?
All of them. We played at our school. We played rugby, cricket, hockey.
Wow.
And we didn't play football because it was in this country, this posh schools.
Oh,
they don't tend to play football.
Oh, I do like my posh schools.
Oh yes, no,
very
you're very good. You've been working on that.
I've been working on it.
You have perfected.
So
with
you
a
played
little
lots
finger.
of sports, and you said you also played an instrument. What did you play?
Oh gosh. Well, I touched on the piano.
Oh.
Yeah, tinkled the
right.
keys for about a term.
Yeah.
That didn't go very well.
Didn't go well.
I also played the trumpet.
Oh, I love the trumpet.
I know, so did
That's
I.
a cool instrument.
It would also be cool if I had a clue how to play it now.
If you could play it properly.
I tell you, I did grade 1 and grade 2, and the fact that I passed both by about 2 marks.
Okay.
That was, I think I retired from
You
trumpet
decided
then.
no more trumpet. For you.
It was when you go to the lesson the next day and the teacher goes, so how's practice gone? And you're like, yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
I did
cool.
great. The
It's
whole
been
1 minute was great.
all of those. I can't wait to do all of those ones we did last time. What were they again? No. So I did as much as I could.
Okay, and do you think, so then you went to school, you played lots of sports, you played music. Where did you then go into uni? Where is it that you got your university?
My university, my 2 schools were in Dorset, and then my university was a university called Loughborough, which is slap bang in the middle of the country. You only go there if you're there for a reason. Nobody goes through there, nobody bypasses, let's just stop off in Loughborough.
So you went there for a reason?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the sportiest universities in the country. In the world, it's got a real reputation. And for me, because I was playing hockey to quite a high level, so I was like, well, I really want to play hockey at the Olympics. That was the dream.
That was the dream.
Because I was sort of thereabouts as far as national selection. And so I thought, if I go to Loughborough, where all these other sort of elite athletes are, the people who have come through like Seb Coe and Paula Radcliffe, some of the greatest sports stars the country's ever produced.
Wow.
I was like, well, if I can line up in their slipstream, who knows?
Who knows?
And then you realise that everyone is better. And you go, this was a bad idea. The glass ceiling is just, I mean, I was so lucky to go to it, but for me anyway, I just realised, especially because I was a goalkeeper, and you don't get many opportunities, there's only one position on the pitch.
Hockey's quite big in the USA, you know?
Yeah, but field hockey though, we discussed this on the last tour.
Yeah, we did.
Because you said, hockey, and I was like,
field hockey.
yeah, and I was like, you said that same thing, and I was like, is it?
Just kidding, yeah.
On the ice,
hockey.
yeah. In the
hockey.
field, not so much.
Not so much, no.
So I actually genuinely, at that point, because I'd been doing TV and stuff at school, and it was actually when I was 16, I first got the idea I wanted to work in telly, because I loved sport and I loved television, and I was like, let's put the two together.
Yeah.
So when I got to Loughborough, and I realised, this Olympic dream ain't gonna happen. Let's be honest, because sometimes you
Was that
do
a hard
have to.
realization?
Not really, because
Or were you
I
okay
had
with it? Yeah.
been getting so silly because university is very distracting like that.
Of course, I bet.
And so my performance was just not very good.
You were better at extracurricular activities.
Extracurricular?
Hey,
Yes,
I
buddy.
look after you, don't
You
worry.
so do. Bailed me out of that one. I was going to go down that route. You were like, extracurricular, yeah.
Extracurricular activities.
No, so I actually realised after 2 years, I went, you know, I'm going to focus on television.
Okay.
So,
but
that was
that's
it.
very different, isn't it? How did you first realize that you were good at presenting or in television, or did you do anything in uni or?
Yeah, so the short story is that when I was 16 and I realised I wanted to be to work in television, I was like, the truth is, my mum was the one that reminded me that you don't just have to be a sports person. Like if you want to work in sport, you don't have to just be an athlete. So I was thinking about the other routes around sport, and
Wise
you
words
can be
by
a
Mum.
physio. I mean, she doesn't know diddly squat about television, but the proverb that she gave me was so fruitful.
Yes.
No,
word.
so proverb.
Yeah. So she's the one that kind of said,
So no, she just opened my eyes to it really, but physiotherapy and psychotherapy, I wasn't really an interest, but I knew I loved television and how much sport was there on television.
On TV all the time.
So I applied. My first work experience was at BBC South, and they had a sports desk there, and I wrote in and I said, I'd really love to just come and have work experience for a day.
Yeah.
I go to this school, I'm really passionate about it, and a really lovely lady got back to me and she said, thank you for getting in touch, let me direct you to the work experience website. And I was like, okay, cool.
Cool.
Sorry, me again? And I got back in touch with her again.
Sorry.
I was just, one more question. I said, I don't mean to pester. I've got this passion for sport, I do this, I really love to, just for an afternoon, no more, no less. And she emailed back and she said, we will send you a couple of pamphlets about how you can get into television.
First it was website.
Second, pamphlets. I mean, now we're wasting paper. So third time. I went, I'm not having this. Third time, I wrote back to her and I said, I'm really sorry. I genuinely, I don't want to be a nuisance. But my name's Oduba. I go to this school. I've got a real passion for television. I just want to get a break, a foot in the door. And I really feel like if you just give me an afternoon, I'd be able to profit from that. And hopefully I'd give you something as well. Genuinely, this same lady who twice before had said, nah, here's a pamphlet, website's very good, replied to me and said, you have now just shown exactly the kind of initiative and enthusiasm to succeed in this industry. We would love you to come down. I was like, whoa!
Right!
Wow!
Yes, that's
Why
amazing.
did you have to test me like that? Oh, my heart. And so later that winter, I went in and had my first work experience. And 10 years later, there was loads of stuff in between, but 10 years later, I was working with the same sports reporter I was shadowing that day as my work experience. 10 years later, I was presenting with him on BBC Breakfast on BBC One.
How amazing. Now that is a success story if I've
That
ever
was
heard
genuinely, I remember it so vividly.
But you know what? Lesson to everyone watching. If you want something, go for it. You definitely
Be
did.
like a gnat.
Go.
Just get off me.
Keep going.
No, but genuinely, that's one of the messages that I try to say to anybody, in any industry really, but especially with television, is that the work is there, but it's not going to come to you.
No,
You've got to fight
really
for
need
it.
to.
You've got to sort of add meat to the bone really, and show why you're the candidate, because you know how competitive it is. That if you really want to be there, then you got to fight for it.
So then you got your first in. What was that first day like? Do you remember the moment you had that camera on your face, the microphone in your hand? Do you remember?
I do.
What was it that you were talking about or presenting?
The very first, skip forward, because that work experience I just shadowed for the day. So I just saw how they work.
To that bit, okay.
But skip forward to my very first job in television was CBBC's News Round.
News Round.
News
yeah,
Round.
baby.
You know News Round, don't you? Yeah. That was my very first job.
That's so cool.
I graduated from university and 2 weeks later, I started at News Round.
Graduated university and in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, my parents did not believe me. They genuinely
That's quite
thought I was
amazing.
making it up. I was like, why was I? That's just a silly waste
Do
of
you
the
know
summer.
why? Because you did that work experience, didn't you? And you
It definitely started. It started something. So I knew.
It grew, didn't it, from something so small into leading into that?
Yeah. Well, I was able to, build my experience, but also for me it was the contacts and the people that I met along the way at various
Yeah.
projects. There was a networking event up in Edinburgh during the TV festival that was huge for me the year actually before. Met a lot of professionals in there, and you just, in the nicest, most professional sense of the way, just got myself around a bit.
Just got yourself around, okay. And so did you enjoy that first day when you did the news run?
I
Were you
did. No, I
nervous?
did.
How did you feel?
I was really, really nervous. It was, do you know what, for me, because it used to be broadcast from BBC's television centre, which unfortunately, they don't work out of there as it is anymore. They've actually just gone back in there. But back then it was like Wonka's factory.
Oh wow, yeah.
Because everything got made in that place. There was a big fence that went around it, and it was, that opening scene, like when Gene Wilder's coming out and you're like, wow, what? You're face pressed up against it going, well, I wonder what on earth goes in there. So for me, going in there for the first time as a professional, bona fide, I'm allowed to be here. I haven't just like stolen a march, broken a gate and just on the loose. This was me actually employed as a presenter.
Wow.
And it was huge. It was huge. And for me, it was just another opportunity.
Yes.
For me, that was it done. I was like, I want to take as much of this place in. It's actually on the 28th of July will be the 10-year anniversary.
10-year anniversary.
I still have the visitor's pass because I wasn't credited then. So I had to have a visitor's pass going, Oduba is visiting production manager Victoria Goodwin.
Oh my gosh, what a nice thing to keep actually.
I always keep all these things. Yeah.
And then, so you did Newsround for how many years? You were there for a bit, weren't you?
I was there for 3.5. No. I was there in London for 3.5 years, and then we moved up to Manchester.
And then the show moved to Manchester.
The show, yeah. A lot of the BBC moved up to Manchester.
And is that when you made the move to Manchester?
Yeah. So I met my now wife and mother of child.
She's so beautiful.
Which is just so crazy because I think at that time I was like, I didn't have a clue about life. I knew how to do my job, but everything else, and she has thankfully put me straight.
Put you in the right, yeah.
But no, we met. She was working there as well, and then both of our jobs moved up, which was the real luck, the stroke of luck, because had one of us moved, it might have been very different. So we got really lucky with that, and so I was up there doing Newsround for 3.5. Someone do the maths. 2.5 more years, and then in 2014.
So 3.5 and 2.5 is 6.
6, yes.
Right? I have a degree in finance. I should hope that I
know,
know
but
how to count.
you haven't lived this life. I should know how many years.
So then, after you moved to Manchester, obviously you were with Portia,
Yeah.
doing CBBC. What came after that? What came after Newsround? Because then you started doing big sports presenting, didn't you?
That's when I started doing more BBC breakfast. So on BBC One in the mornings, like really early.
Too early?
For me.
I'm not a morning person either,
No,
actually.
Jeanette, we are so much better in the evening, aren't we?
Evening,
Like,
yes,
let's
with
start
our
the day. Extracurricular activities start at 7:30 p.m. and we'll be on stage. Happy to do that.
Yeah.
3:30 in the morning is not the nicest time of
is
the
that
day.
the time you had to get up every day?
That was get up and in for 4:30. I used to get in for 5 o'clock, and then I watched myself on air at 6:01 once and went, you need more time. Because
really
that
wake up.
face is not ready for telly.
It was like just barely opening your eyes.
like slits in the snow. Good morning. Here's the sport.
Well, that must have been exciting because that was a big moment, wasn't it?
It was. It was amazing to be. I'd sort of done bits and stuff when they were in London, and then what was great about Manchester is there was a whole world of opportunity because, they had new members of staff. They wanted to be a bit more collaborative and everything, and there was an opportunity to do more. It was a big deal. And I think for me, there was a summer in 2014. There was a few things. There was the Commonwealth Games. There was the World Cup, which didn't go well for England, but it was on. And it just gave me opportunity to be seen in a different way. And especially a lot of guys who've worked in children's television before, which is an amazing training ground.
Yeah.
It's like you to get to do the amount of things I got to do. You know, in some genre, you wait 10 years, 15 years to do that amount of work. And all of it was live. I was working in live television.
It's very different, isn't it, live television?
Very different, and not often these days that you get the chance to learn it as well.
Yeah.
So I was learning it from the very beginning. So the opportunity was there, but I think for a lot of people, you can get pigeonholed. And people will think, oh, children's presenters, children's broadcasters, that's it. And I think through Breakfast, I was able to be an adult. I was able to be more of a mature gentleman.
Oh, hello, good morning, everyone.
which is exactly how I did it.
Yeah.
Yes, good morning.
And then, so we have to talk about it. How did then Strictly come about? How was it after you? How many years after you've been doing this morning breakfast show?
So that would be 5 years from my first doing BBC Breakfast, and I joined the gang.
You joined the gang
in 2016.
Ooh, tell me that moment. Were you ready? Were you like excited? Were you nervous when they told you we'd like to have you on the show?
I was pooing myself.
Were you?
I was, because I've told everybody this, how I've been obsessed with the show since it started.
Yeah, you said, yeah.
I've been absolutely obsessed with it.
You've been a massive Strictly
I
fan
have
for
been
so many years.
such a big fan. And back in the days when it wasn't Television Centre, we were like skulking through the corridors, trying to see Bruno with his onesie.
Yeah,
I was like, there he is. You know, it was the biggest deal on television, and we worked there. So it was, again, it just sort of fueled that fire of just hoping one day I might do it. And for me, it wasn't really attainable, because you know when I was on the show and I was like, this is a dream. I'm literally
remember the day
living
your
a dream.
Eyes were like, this is amazing.
Yeah, because I was just like, this is on the television.
This is so
like, I work in telly, but this is in the television.
Yeah.
So I didn't need to tell my agent ever that I wanted to be on the show. It was just known.
It was just known.
They just knew.
Yeah.
So the very first time that she got in touch and she said, oh, the team at Strictly would like to talk to you about potentially being on the show. He lost it.
You were on the phone going,
he lost it. I was like, yeah. So cool.
Trying to be
just
cool.
stripped naked and just did like a crazy dance. No, and for me I was like, I'm made at this point, because if I get to do it in 5 years, 10 years, then we start the conversation. Because you know what it's like. It's so, I mean, their list is as long as the world is round.
So you
for
thought,
the amount of people that want to be on the show.
Of a long, maybe process.
Yeah, because it's nice to meet them, and you know, hopefully you're being charted that maybe one day you'll be right for the mix.
Yeah.
So I remember talking to the team and going, and I was so uncool.
You were so...
I was so uncool. I was like, okay, do you know what I really fell in love with the show? Jill Halfpenny, Jive, Series 2. Oh my goodness, me with Darren Bennett when they did it in Blackpool. Oh, I couldn't get enough. Oh, don't get me started about Darren and Lilia doing show dance to Hey Big Spender. I couldn't get enough of it. And I think it's, you know,
I think that enthusiasm definitely left a good mark.
I said to my wife afterwards, I told her that, and she was like, did you not want to play a little more cool? I was like, I couldn't. Even if I wanted to, I just couldn't have done. So no, I thought that was lovely. And then that was over the course of the summer, you're still in the mix. And I then got a call from my agent in the June, I think it was. And I was at home with my mum's house. And she called, I picked up the phone, and she just sang the theme tune.
Oh my gosh, really? And is that when you knew?
It was heart sinking, exploding, palpitating all at the same time. And I couldn't believe it. And it didn't sink in until you got there. But I thought, okay, that's wow.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
I called my wife, and she, because you know Portia, and the whole thing for me was about doing it together. So she was there from the start. But then I spoke to my mum, and she was in the conservatory. I went over to my mum and I went, because this is a big deal. And bearing in mind I'd just been married about 8 months before that, but I said it was a big gift. So I said to her, I was like, Mum, you might want to sit down. Portia's on the phone. She wanted to see her reaction. Yeah. Portia's on the phone. We've got some news.
Oh, okay.
What do you think a parent of a newly married son with his wife on the phone would think at that point?
A baby.
we're going to be on Strictly. What? she was so confused, slash disappointed.
Really? Because she thought you were going to give her baby news. Oh no, Ore.
Yeah, I could have phrased it differently. But for me, it felt like, you know, the biggest news we'd had that year. But no, she might have thought we were having a baby, but no, of course she was so delighted.
Happy, of
and
course
we just skipped into the sunset.
And then you got Strictly, and we had our first dance, didn't we?
We did.
Yes.
We absolutely did.
I was like one of your first partners, I think, wasn't it?
You were my first partner. You were my second partner.
Okay, second. Okay, fine, I'll take it.
No. You were my first day partner.
Yeah.
Shared with Katja Jones.
With Katja Jones.
Yeah, but I didn't really partner Katja. I mean, love you, Katja, by the way.
Yeah.
But Janette was the first.
We were there.
Yeah. So on the very first day.
But then you did. How did you feel when you found out that you got Joanne? Were you super excited? Had you had chats with her?
We
before?
were both confused.
Were you?
We were both surprised.
Wow.
Yeah, because we hadn't.
Did you not expect to get?
Well, you know, because like I said, you and Katja, I'd been dancing with in Roehampton,
so you probably
and
thought,
you know what it's like, and that because the producers, they're so sort of
sneaky, aren't
sneaky, and they're just looking for the undertones,
like mind games,
and they're very good. They're really good, and so Joe and I just had barely really made much contact. We'd said hello at lunch, but then we weren't involved in the routine, and so it just wasn't really thinking that it was going to be with her, and then on the show, I'm so sorry. You're wonderful. These guys who
he's scared of birds.
Yeah, look, that's fine.
I forgot about
no. I mean, that's fine. Keep that in because it's just
birds.
necessary as we come to sit under a tree.
I am waiting for something.
The home of birds.
We're not looking at him. He's gone.
No, he's fine. That's what I was looking at you.
What bird? What wings? Who cares?
And in the corner of my eye, there
Just so everybody knows, Ore has a massive fear of birds.
You know when you did that dance, the group dance to see
Well, I was a bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't like it very much.
I ran the heck away.
I should have scared
by the
you.
way, incredible.
Oh, I should have scared you with my bird feathers.
You're too nice for that. You know.
So you got Joanne.
Yes.
Kind of shocked because you weren't expecting
Immediate surprise, and then all of a sudden, just complete synergy.
You became like, I remember thinking you guys were inseparable. You became great friends.
That's the biggest stroke of luck, because you know how it works, is that you can't do it on your own, obviously, but it's the intensity of that show.
Yeah.
It's the best way is if you are just fused, if you're just as
really
one,
do need to have
because
that
you
relationship
need to
with your
bounce off
partner.
each other, and you feel like they've got your back. There's that trust, that reliability, and ideally loads of laughs and that friendship. And so quickly, it was mad, because she had to come up to Manchester, and before that first show we spent, what was it, like 2.5 weeks together, and she's out of her usual home, and we just clicked.
Amazing.
I was loving it. She was the world champion. I was like, dude, who got lucky?
Now, speaking of world champion, you are now a champion as well, you're not?
Well, yes.
Well, yes, Ore,
To
you
skip
are.
14 or 15 weeks
14
later.
weeks later, you went on to win. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm just
Okay.
Okay.
And then 14 weeks later, you went on to win. How did you?
How?
Tell me that day, because I was so proud of you and Joanne.
Oh,
I mean,
I
it was
know.
such an incredible final. You had so many, your jive. I don't think anyone will ever forget your jive. And you know how you were talking about all those jives in the past?
Yeah.
You're one of those jives now that people will always talk about.
It was, and like the first time I did that job was unforgettable. The final, it was.
I remember I said to you, I did think. You know that moment where you and Louise and Danny came down, you descended.
Yeah.
Obviously everyone was quite nervous. It's the final.
Yeah.
Louise came down and she was smiling, but obviously her butterflies win. Danny came down and he was also smiling with butterflies in. But you came down and you were like, yeah!
Let's rock this joint! Let's do it tonight!
It was amazing. You had so much energy and excitement.
Because we had been recently in the dance-off. In the quarterfinals, we'd been in the dance-off. So having survived it, everything was a bonus. And to be in the semi-final, you want to get to the final, because and from that point we said between the three couples, we said, guys, we've won. We're in the showpiece. We're here in the final. And for me and Joe, because it was so far beyond our expectations, certainly from the start, even halfway through, 2 dance-offs, we were like, if we can't enjoy this, then we might as well go home.
You did, like you said, you survived dance-offs and everything throughout
Yeah, it had been a real tumultuous, tearful few months.
You didn't cry at all.
I just a little leaking. And we had 3 incredible dancers that I just couldn't wait to do again. Yeah. So the whole thing was set up. My family were there, my wife was there, one of my best buddies from Singapore had flown in from the day.
Incredible.
And it was just such a party.
Hence the coming down.
Well, I couldn't even, like, up there, right? I saw you and Aliash were there in the centre of the dance floor, and I remember seeing all of you guys down there, and you think, this is the rap party. Guys,
this is the party,
this is it. Like, we've had, like, we started this you started way before. We started this in August. It's like Christmas.
Yeah.
And we are wrapping this up, and we're going to party like it's 99. And that was exactly the thought I had. I thought, don't muck it up.
Did. You really you enjoyed it. Did you enjoy dancing the dances?
As soon as I had the first sequence out the way, I thought we were on a roll, because I just thought, because we were dancing first.
Was it Singing in the Rain first?
We were doing Singing in the Rain,
Yeah, which is your American Smoke, which was one of my favourites.
Thank you, buddy. Don't let me get you started on yours. But yeah, so we were so honoured to open it.
Yeah.
And Patricia Ward Kelly, Gene Kelly's wife, was in the audience, which was just, again, mind-boggling. We'd had dinner with her about a week before.
Just in case nobody knows the story, which I doubt it, you did the Singing in the Rain American Smooth Foxtrot, and Patricia Kelly was so impressed with it that she flew to the final. I mean, what?
When you put it like that, that is a bit crazy.
It is a bit crazy.
Yeah, that was really, that was mad.
But were you nervous about her being there, or did it just feed you more excitement?
We met her for dinner the week before, and I think it was the week before or in that week, and so there was a doubt whether she might come to the final, but for me and Joe, because we'd come out from training and we were just like, okay, I haven't done it with Patricia, okay. You don't do any of the jokes that you do, because they're seriously not funny. She's not going to enjoy them. You just be cool. Be cool. And we just did not need to have that conversation, because she was just so warm and so welcoming to both of us. And we were just in awe. And I mean, the stories, she's just talking about life with Gene and what he was, just his inspirations and how he created, and we were just like...
And here you are, playing Gene Kelly himself in the final.
Tried not to think about all of that together, because that wouldn't have left the starting position had we thought about that too much. But yeah, no, as soon as I just wanted to get the first steps out of the way, and then we knew the rest of it. And from that moment, we were sailing. It felt like we were sailing the whole day. And
I have to say, watching you dance that night, you just danced with such confidence and happiness. It was exuding from you that it wasn't about winning at that point. You just were loving life. But then the moment came.
Yes.
And your reaction and Joe's reaction. I mean, we all know you cry, but that one was like, you were in complete and utter shock. Did you not expect to win? Not for a second. I mean, it was so nice for you guys. Well, I guess the thing is, because like I said, considering everything that had gone before that point on that day, we were genuinely just so happy to be there. And we were just in that, we're just having a great time mode. That by the time it got to that point, I genuinely was thinking, can't wait to get to the party. I can't wait to have a drink. It's been a long day. I've got a bit of cramp. Just think we want a drink. And it was just, what a day, what a night. What did you say, Tess? And it was like jaw to the floor. It really was quite a moment. Because you think how amazing Dan and Oti and Lou and Kev had been throughout the series. And again, we didn't see it coming. We went there to have a great time, which had been our mantra for the whole series. Yeah. Just enjoy it, and we just don't want it to end. And so at that point, we were just taking our positions like we had done every week before. And do you, now that you are literally in the Hall of Fame amongst the winners of Strictly Come Dancing, do you take your trophy with you everywhere?
I don't, you know.
You don't?
But for special people,
Oh.
it occasionally comes out.
Oh my gosh. Are we going to have the honor of touching this? Are we going to have the honor of touching it?
Why does it feel like there's innuendo everywhere we go? Would you like to have a go on my trophy?
To touch your trophy.
You're welcome.
Did you actually bring it?
Of course I brought it for you.
Wow, wow. Look at this.
There you go.
Where is it in your house? Where do you keep it?
We keep it in the downstairs loo.
What?
Why? Why do people react like that?
Downstairs loo?
Because it's a nice place to surprise you.
Do you stare at it when you sit at the toilet,
Well, no.
or is it behind you?
No, well, we don't use the downstairs loo that
It's for
frequently.
guests to sit
so
down and go.
it's the guest loo. It's the guests.
Now, this, you worked so hard for this.
Thanks, buddy.
It was such an incredible series. I have to say, as your friend, and at that point your co-dancer.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
You and Joanne were just so phenomenal. As you said, Danny and Oti and Louise and Kevin were sensational.
Yeah.
But your story, the fact that you were in the bottom, that you were kind of that underdog, the guy that came from, had a really, so we say the J word, journey.
We had a bit of a
Throughout
journey.
the series,
Yeah.
this was completely well deserved.
Thank you.
It was sensational. I cried, I screamed.
Yes, you did.
I think everyone.
You are also on record having cried.
I was quite a tearful person.
That's
that
okay.
night.
I think it's okay to show that
Right,
emotion.
we'll give that back to you.
Okay.
So you can put it back in the downstairs toilet.
Do you know the only shame of it is a bit dusty. It's
No,
been a
no,
couple
no.
of years.
Look at it. Now there's a new champion, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Have you met Joe?
Of course I met Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, before we did the tour together, but Joe and Katya were the first couple that I went to go and see in training.
Yeah, and then Joe was a lovely guy as well. He was also an interesting winner because again the J word came along.
Yeah, but from that very first, I think it was before their first dance, before the first week, you could see how hard they were working.
Yeah.
Like his vest. In training, you wear a vest. It's fine. Okay, don't.
It was drenched.
I've worn vests as well. Do you wear? We wear vests.
Yes.
His vest was saturated.
Yeah.
He had worked so hard, and obviously, Katya,
Yeah, she got it out for him. Yeah.
she really cracked it.
Yeah.
And so they set their bar very early.
But then you not only went on to win Strictly Come Dancing, you then also did the Strictly podcast, and then you hosted the Strictly Live tour. Remember the year we toured together when you won?
Yeah.
We were so gutted that we're like, oh, we had such an amazing time. We're never going to get to do this again.
It was very sad.
The tour was a sad moment saying goodbye. And then you're like, Janette, I'm back. And you got to do the host. You were an incredible host. Did you enjoy it?
We had such a good time. Because
Yeah.
I genuinely, like that period, that 6 months from doing the TV show and doing the tour, I thought it couldn't be bettered. And actually, it couldn't be bettered, but I was able to close that chapter off and start a new one, but within the family, with all, our friends again. And for me, because this is the thing for me with Strictly, is that before doing the show, I was a huge fan. So the show's now, finished with being a contestant in it. I'm still just a huge fan.
Yeah.
I cannot get enough
Well,
of it.
especially now that you've been a part of it.
Well, this is what I'm so lucky, because now, I've got friends like you. I've got like the most amazing work family. Like, it's just, it's crazy.
It didn't feel like work, did it?
That wasn't quite, yeah.
But
we
was
put
it-
on a show, but we
Yeah.
also made sure we had another bit of fun time as well.
And was it nice? I mean, I guess you came from being contestant, the winner, to then coming on and just hosting and kind of watching the new set of
Yeah.
celebrities come
Yeah.
on. Was that nice for you to kind
Loved
of
it.
be the hey guys, I'm here, I know what you're feeling?
Yeah, without being too much. Guys, let me tell you.
Let me tell you.
I've been there.
Was it
so
nice for you? I bet.
loved it because, I was watching you guys so closely that following year. The podcast helped because it meant that I had a reason. I wasn't just the one who wouldn't let go.
No, yeah,
I was on doing the
whole
podcast.
series,
So
yeah.
I was lucky to pop up. I saw you guys at Elstree at the studio, and then Danny and I and Melv and Rob, we came back for the semi-finals and stuff. But I was watching it really closely. Firstly, for you guys, for you pros as my friends, and then obviously seeing how these guys are also developing. And when I was watching others start from scratch, and to then see what they were doing. I was feeling all that pride, the
were
same thing that
feeling
you, I was feeling
pride.
all of it. I was like, that's amazing, like seeing it from the outside. And what's so lovely about the tour is because you could just champion them all again. I was
Yeah.
lucky to be up there on the stage to go, here's something that you loved, that bit you loved as well. These guys are going to do that crazy Argentine tango lift that you saw. It's all happening again. And everywhere I go, you know, Strictly, it doesn't leave you because it is the most amazing thing, but it touches so many people's lives. And I will talk about it probably too much. But
Never too much,
But for
right?
all the good reasons. And so something like the tour is
No,
perfect
but
because
we
you
had-
can go and spread it.
Yeah, we had the best time on tour, and you were such a good host because you had lived through it.
Yeah.
It was so nice to see you kind of going, guys, I've been there, I've got you, don't worry.
We
you
got
can-
your back.
We got
We
your
got
back.
your back.
But you had you've had quite the year and a half, 2 years, because then you not only won Strictly Come Dancing, you not only did the podcast and came and hosted the live tour.
Yes.
You now
You're going
have-
to talk about my TV show Hardball, I know.
The biggest news ever, you
Oh.
became a dad! Little Roman! How's daddy like?
Oh, it is. I don't know where these blessings are coming from, mate. I don't even know.
Are you very good with Portia? Are you like hands-on kind of daddy, or do you kind of let?
No, I'm really hands-on, and so actually it works the other way because especially early on, Roman had such a bond with his mum, as babies do, and I'm like, hi, I'm here too. Where's my love? And I found it really difficult actually because the role of dad in the first weeks anyway, it's much more. You've got to be the support role.
Yeah.
You got to cook, you got to clean, you got to make sure that Portia's okay and she's happy and everything else. Hey, buddy.
It's a dog.
Hey, buddy. Oh, I'm cool with him.
About the bird.
Oh, I'm cool with him. Did he? I just love.
This is what happens when you
I
do
love that
interviews outside.
nature feels so at home with us. The pigeons can flop down.
flop down
The
and the-
puppies can go for a pee pee.
Yeah, it's good.
I think
all
it's
good.
lovely. I think we're very lucky.
We're talking about diaper changing anyway. So
Yeah, exactly. I'm done. You should have come to me. I would have helped you out.
Are you good at changing diapers now?
That was like my only role.
Was it?
I would come because, you know, I was away for the tour when Roman was,
Yeah.
well, after Roman was born, I went away on the tour. So when I came home, when the times I was able to come home, Portia was like, nappy, yours. I was like, yeah, that's fine. This is what I do. So no, what's nice is it's so, the change is so seismic in those first weeks that now we've got into a bit of a rhythm. I mean, Roman likes to change it up. He's like, oh, you think this is easy now? Okay, I'm gonna throw you this curveball.
Yeah.
I'm gonna poo out front now. No, but now we feel like we've got into a rhythm, like we're a team. So it feels
amazing.
like we know how it's starting to work at least. You know, we haven't got the measure of it, but we're loving
send
it.
Portia and Roman all my cuddles and all my
I
love
will.
in the world.
I
It's
will.
such a
Thank you for that
beautiful
present
family.
as well. You're the
No
best.
worries. And now you we briefly touched it.
Oh,
Hardball.
oh no, we do not have to talk about
Yeah,
those things.
Did you enjoy doing it? Was that away? That show was away.
Yeah,
wasn't
we
it?
filmed that in Glasgow. So actually, Portia and Roman came with me, which was nice.
Oh,
Because
cool.
after the tour, it was like straight into hardball. So I was like, okay, I've been a terrible father so far. You're coming. So the Odubas are on tour in Glasgow, and yeah, it was amazing. We had some amazing contestants, and who knows, hopefully series 2.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, it's been
and
nice.
So what now? A little bit of chill time, you were saying.
A little bit of
Relax
chill
at home.
time, yeah. Enjoy the
London,
summer.
Enjoy the
summer in London. Tennis, that's coming soon.
Are you still doing sports presenting?
I still love my sport. It's still, inbuilt in me.
Yeah.
What was so lovely after Strictly is it opened up some new doors and some new
Yeah.
opportunities and things that I thought weren't attainable. And now, because we've talked about stage and stuff and pushing boundaries and stuff like that, and it's no secret that I'm looking for the right stage to continue
Well,
performing.
you did an incredible performance on Comic Relief, didn't you? You got to sing.
Children in Need, yeah.
The Children in Need,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we. I was really, really honoured that they don't let any old muggins, maybe one, on their stage. So yeah, we did a tribute to Gene Kelly and sang a number.
It's a reoccurring
from,
theme, Gene Kelly, isn't it? in
It
your life?
was, yeah. Well, it seemed like a really good one to do at that stage. It
and
made
dance.
sense. It was cool. It was "Gotta Dance" was the number, which we then sung like the opening number of the tour.
The tour. Again.
Mind blown. Yeah, so that's another project that hopefully
something
will come again.
I have to say, your passion and love for the arts really, really shows through. Whenever we hang out, whenever we talk about things, you've got such an admiration for it. And but like you said, but still love your sports. And
do you know what it is though? And last year was such a like a revelation for me, because it was coming to watch you guys. It was coming to watch you guys. It was you and Aliash. It was coming to see Jo doing her show, watching Danny perform, and watching Louise perform, and watching like the amazing my mates on stage killing it. And I would go home like you. I mean, I know you were one of those kids that when you grew up and you watched a show, whether Broadway or wherever, that it just went, I want to do that, you know. I want to be where the people She knows the line.
You know my favorite princess.
You don't even know to go there. Just happened to be wearing Ariel pinks today.
Yep.
And so, yeah, last year, watching you guys on stage, every single time I came away from that, I was like that kid who was like, that, I want to be doing that. I want to achieve that standard, that incredible, like excelling. You guys are just the best, and I'm lucky to call you my friend.
With your perseverance and your love and passion for it, I don't doubt for a second that you're going to be on a big stage very soon.
We'll find one.
We need to talk one last question.
Oh yes.
This is the last one.
Oh, you're kneeling for this.
Yeah, it's an
okay.
exciting one.
Is this news?
Yeah.
Are you having a? Oh.
I'm on Strictly.
Oh. And he was disappointed with the news.
If we go right back to the very beginning, to little Ore, and you didn't do any of the sports presenting, you didn't play sports, Strictly wasn't even something you thought about.
It wasn't even the apple in the eye.
What would have been your plan B? What would have been something else that you would have been doing in your life?
Well, I think I probably would have been a teacher.
A teacher?
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you like teaching?
I love working with kids. So actually, that working in children's telly, I was really lucky actually, because that was one of the passions of mine. I also really like holidays. And so you get 3 big, chunky holidays as a teacher. So I was like, you don't get that in any other job.
You would have been Mr. Ore.
I would have been Mr. Ore Oduba.
I love
The ring
that.
is not taken completely not seriously by any children. Yeah, I think or a sports coach, PE teacher, that kind of thing.
I think definitely something involved with coaching and teaching.
Yeah, that's what I would have done. But you know, it didn't. That was right at the back of my thinking, because I was so keen.
From what we've learned, has been such a success story. You worked so hard,
Thanks, buddy.
And you succeeded massively. And now you're a daddy, happily married, doing what you love. Life is good, isn't it?
It's been really good until yesterday, and I'll tell you for why. Because I went into the bank, and there was a guy in the bank, and he said, "Are you from Ghana?" And I said, "Oh, no, I'm not actually family from Nigeria," but he's splitting hairs. I said, "Why?" He said, "Oh, well, you look like my brother's dad."
Brother's dad?
So,
what?
I'm 32. You're like 27. Your brother's dad?
Maybe he just felt your daddy vibes.
I'm not having that.
Just felt the
Whoever he
daddy
is,
vibes.
I'm going to find him, and I want to know. I want to know.
Can we play a quick game?
Yes.
Now, we know that on Strictly, quite an emotional person.
I didn't. No, you got the wrong guy.
Don't cry.
Your Honour.
You did cry a little bit because you are such a sensitive person.
Just happy tears.
We're going to play a little round of acting the tear.
Oh, good.
So I am going to give you a scenario.
Yep.
And you have to really try and... I don't want to really make you cry.
No,
You're quite
okay.
sensitive guy.
Yeah.
But I want you to give me... The first one is tears of sadness and action. It's unbelievable. It was quite amazing. It's okay, I'm right here.
Scene.
Amazing.
Thank
you.
Okay. Oh, 1 out of 1.
A second
We're
one.
just warming up, Janette.
All right. Tears of overexcitement.
I just
One Strictly. Again.
Oh.
Nailed that one as
I
well.
am sweating under here.
Okay, this is the hardest one.
This is the climax.
This is the climax.
I'm scared.
The tears the day Roman was born.
Oh God.
And action.
I-
So he's going to do it for real. I think we've got him for real now.
Don't.
I think we've got him for
I
real.
will have to flunk that exam.
Aw.
Because that's like,
Can you
it's
do
touching the nerve. I can't do it.
All right, thank you so much for coming today.
Oh, I love you,
You're
Janette.
amazing, amazing, amazing. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you, buddy. Good luck with your show.
I cannot wait to see you again. We're going to talk more next time.
We will. I will be at training. I'm going to be at Elstree. I'm going to be at your house, which isn't far down the road.
Don't forget the most important.
I was going to say, if you want to swap this for Aliash, I will happily just do a little cheeky trade.
Maybe I should.
Just to swap.
Just so I can hold it for a
Just
day
to
at
see.
home. Okay.
I say, if you're a betting man or woman, keep an eye out for this one.
All right. I love you. League of our own.
Yes,
always.
we are. Boom!